Ribadu tells the FCC to block funding of terrorism, kidnapping, and banditry.
A very good morning to you. You're welcome to the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. My name is Reme Paulson.
And my name is Nyamgul Agaji. Don't forget, we're also going to bring you what the papers are saying this morning on Off the Press. We welcome you to a bright and beautiful Thursday morning. Yeah.
The 21st of December.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be a very important, very interesting day on the show this morning, especially as the federal government has said that today there are going to be some things that will happen if you intend to travel to your villages. Okay, there's a lot to talk about that later on, so let's just keep our fingers crossed. But we're glad that you were able to join us today.
That's right.
Okay, we'll go to our top trending, I think. Just take the top trendings. Let's see. What is it that's
happening today in Nigeria? Okay, so our first top trending today is federal government slashes public transport fare by 50%. The federal government of Nigeria on Wednesday said it has slashed public transport fares for Nigerians by 50%. Well, this was disclosed by the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, during a press conference on the presidential intervention in public transportation to celebrate the Yuletide season in Abuja, the nation's capital. According to Alake, the intervention will commence on Thursday, which is today, December 21, and end on January 4, 2024. However, the minister said air travel was excluded from the initiative because the initiative was targeted at the masses. He noted that President Bola Tinubu approved the gesture in the demonstration of his love for Nigerians, adding that the move allows Nigerians who want to travel to visit their loved ones and hometowns to do so without stress, and the extra burden imposed by the high cost of transportation around this period. Alake stated that the President Tinubu has directed the Police, Department of State Services, DSS, the military, and other security agencies to work collaboratively to ensure the holiday period is safe without any security breach in any part of the country. That is amazing. I mean, I love it. I can see your face, Yamgul, already.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a good initiative. It's nice that they're thinking for Nigerians. And we know the high cost of transportation in this time. I mean, moving somewhere to my state will cost you almost 20,000 naira just to go. And coming back, another 20, so that's 40K. But that is good that, prices are being slashed. However, this is where, it gets dicey. This is for the federal government buses and trains. Oh, so, okay, another thing we did not take here is that, trains are like at zero cost, which is great. But how are the masses supposed to access this? That's the question. Because most times, everyone is moving on public transport that is, made by private people. So your normal bus guy on the street, that's how people are moving. But how are we supposed to access this one? Because I'm sure they're talking about the federal government transport system. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can speak.
I'm just looking at you and I'm saying, this is a positive Nigeria. I think it's a scam. That's a personal view. I think it's a scam. And then what do they mean by saying the policy was, the move was targeted at the masses? Masses don't travel by air. So they have segregated, they have now had two groups. The masses that can go on the road and the trains, and I don't know what they call themselves, the people that can go on air.
No,
so
those are the privileged masses.
Oh, privileged masses. So we all don't deserve that. And what happens to the people, or what happens to the people who decide to stay back here in Lagos? There are people, I have a neighbor who usually went home every weekend to meet his family because his family is in Badagry. Okay, now he stays somewhere here within the heart of Lagos. And then he, for the past how many months, he's not been able to go. He goes there once in a month instead of once every week because of that. So now, even within Lagos, it's distant relationship if your family is far from where you're staying. So what happens to those people? Why were they not considered as well? Okay, I'm also asking the question, One of the NLC head of information said, he said, government is killing a cow with its mouth, and we Nigerians are eating it with our ears. It's just.
Well, they're hearing it, we're not seeing it.
After this show, I'm going to go to some parks to see what is really happening, if it is happening at all. Why didn't they give us the names of the various companies? Surely it cannot be every company in Nigeria that is operating a luxury bus. Yes. They also said, if we read further, we could have seen where they said that we're going to be doing one trip per day. One trip of how many buses? So if I have 100 buses in my fleet and I'm doing one trip, am I doing one trip of the 100 buses, or am I doing one trip of one of the buses and the rest are at the mercy of whoever is in charge? They didn't clarify all that. Then someone asked Dele Alake, what is the cost? Because this clearly wasn't budgeted for, nothing like this. So what subhead is it coming from? So what is the cost of these palliatives? Because they're still calling it palliatives. And he said the cost doesn't matter. Because
why would you say
when you're thinking about the masses and what is good for the masses, the cost doesn't matter. Really? The cost doesn't matter. What in the first place was it that made life so unbearable and the transportation go so high? Why didn't you at that period say, okay, this palliative will be on fuel, for instance? You go to every filling station, instead of buying for 600 naira, you're buying for 200 naira. That way the people within town can move easily. The people who are traveling far,
so it cuts across.
Yes, you don't need to slash the transportation. So how do we get to know who really carried the people that needs, they say they have ticketing system. What if the bus that I claim that I carried people for half the price did not go at all? But I'm just giving you the ticket. So what's what is the monitoring like? Well, all these questions they didn't answer. So I don't even know what I will say. But I think it's a scam, because at the end of the day, we'll be given an amount of money that we cannot even imagine. And this is our money. Money that could have been used for a lot of other things. And you're telling us that what worried me also was the fact that, yes, you want the masses to travel, but no mention was made of security. No. So they had said they were speaking to the military, the DSS, everyone. They were speaking to. They should have assured us, because bandits are also listening. They are the ones who kidnap people.
Even from trains. I know that you've made the trains at zero cost.
Why don't they say every train is going to have X, Y, Z, even if it's not true, but let them get to know that
it has to be true.
Or you say you are talking to them. Today is Thursday, so the movement has to start today.
Right.
Okay, so you didn't say anything about that. The definite security statement that I heard from Dele Alake was the fact that they had to make it 50% so that it's not everybody that can travel. What kind of security arrangement is that? So for me, I don't know about other Nigerians, I think it's a scam. Yes, some people will enjoy that, but where do I need to go? Do I need to go to ABC? Do I need to go to Peace Mass? Do I need to go? These people, these transport companies are known. They should have given us a list of the people that they talked to. So some people in some other places are claiming that they've not had that directive. So how do we know who is who?
How do you even know where to go?
Yeah.
Right.
So if I go to a place and they say they haven't had that directive and they carry me for the 100% this thing, I can't even report them because they are not on the list. I don't know.
You don't even know what the list is.
Yes, I don't know what the list is. And then you're saying 4th of December, which means if I go home, if I take leave now to travel
4th of January.
Yeah, for 1 month, I will have to cut it if I want to be
enjoy.
Covered.
Yes.
So
well, for me, I'm trying to be hopeful here. I'm a hopeful Nigerian.
Yeah. We were talking, and I was like, is this sarcastic or is she being real?
No, I'm trying to be hopeful. But my problem here is, one, the list, because we don't know where to go to be able to enjoy these affordable prices. And 2, I feel like it doesn't cut across everyone, because the guy on the street, if I go outside now and I want to take a bus, it's not going to say federal government has said what. Like, I will be speaking gibberish to him. He will say, oh, buddy, give me my money, like that kind of thing. So at the end of the day, if you want to do something like this, you should be able to do something that cuts across everyone so everyone can enjoy. This
Where
is
are
the
the
Christmas
buses they
season.
even promised us? By now we were expecting that they will have these buses, even though 100 buses will not even be enough
100
for
electric buses.
Lagos State alone. 100 buses will not be enough. The other day, the governor of Lagos was saying, the federal government has graciously said they were going to support us with some buses, then we will look for about 1,000 to add. So
Imagine.
the state will look for like 1,000.
You're giving us maybe 50,
Yeah.
then we'll use 1,000.
1,000 to
Wow.
add from the federal government, you know.
Well, there's a lot to do, but I mean, if this is true and it's not a scam, as the
It is a
Ambula said,
scam. It is
we
a scam.
we hope that
because we
everyone
don't know
can
how
be
much
partaker.
is going into that.
Yeah.
It might be even more than if they had said, okay, let's bring back 1 month's subsidy in fuel, because you would have
Just for-
benefited.
yeah,
I would have
everyone,
benefited. I'm
yeah.
not traveling. I would have benefited. A lot of things would have come down because of that 1 month thing.
I mean,
now,
for the Christmas season, enjoy this, because they're saying it's from the love of the president.
if I even travel home, what will the Christmas be like? Will I even have the means to make it merry enough? I don't have
Imagine
that.
traveling and then you still get there and fuel is 600 and something,
and
and there's no light.
you call your
because
uncle-
I've not had light for about 2 days, and then heat is wiring you. Come on.
You call your uncle like, uncle, you'd be like, transport, you go help me. You know? You went home and people are saying, yeah, this one that is staying in Lagos. And then you're
he has to
begging
come
for
with all of the
transport.
money.
I beg you. It's a scam.
Anyways, let's move over to our next top trending story. This one is Tinubu submits list of SC justices to Nigerian Senate for confirmation. President Bola Tinubu has transmitted the list, to the Nigerian Senate recently. The list of 11 new Supreme Court justices cleared by the National Judicial Council, NJC, so that the legislators can screen and confirm the judges. The National Judicial Council, NJC, on December 6, recommended the appointment of 11 justices to the Supreme Court. A statement by the Apex Court Director of Information, Soji Oye, said the recommendation was made at the 104th meeting of the Council in Abuja on Wednesday. With this appointment, the Apex Court will have the full complete complement of 21 justices as envisaged by the Constitution. Those recommended for the appointment for the Supreme Court are, we have Honorable Justice Jumai Anatu Sankey OFR, Honorable Justice Chidebere Wauma Uwa, Honorable Justice Chioma Egondu Wonsuhieme, Honorable Justice Haruna Simon Samani, Honorable Justice Moore Asiemo A. Adumeng, Honorable Justice Obande Festus Ogwinaya, Honorable Justice Stephen Jonah Ada, Honorable Justice Habib Adewale O. Abiru, Honorable Justice Jamilu Yamana Tukur, Honorable Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar, Honorable Justice Mohammed Baba Idris. So those are the 11 justices that their names have been submitted for.
Yeah, I'm glad that the manpower in the courts will be as good as it should be, even though I still think that there should be more than that. We have so many cases and we are short of manpower.
Especially with all of the...
We don't know, I think it's only lawyers and all that are not jackbarring professionally. They are leaving, but maybe not to go and practice law. But if you have a professional course like medicine, even engineering or tech especially, you just leave because of your profession and all that. But my worry always is, why does it always have to pass through the table of the president? What business does he have with the judiciary? You make your recommendations, these people are qualified to do that, and then why do you have to pass the list through the president? I think there's some undue influence on professional bodies that should be autonomous. That's my only worry. So. They recommend it, the NJC, which is supposed to be a body that knows that these are our people and that we know they can do the job. They recommend it, and it's also subject to the approval by the president. And it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that works. If judiciary really has the independence that they're saying that they have, I don't know why. I don't see why it should pass through the table of the president. Yeah,
because I think most times the way Nigeria works, there's a lot of influence and connection. So even if, it's being passed to the president can be like, I have someone else on my
It's
mind
very possible.
that
Even
would,
though they will say no, it doesn't happen. But
So
it's
I
very
think
possible.
that's the reason why they need to be able to recommend their people, and it doesn't have to go through the president. But anyways, I hope they can do the work. That's the prayer. They come and do it. Because we have a lot of court cases flying. With the whole election period, everyone is going to court. So hopefully they can do the job.
And I don't know, are the courts really important nowadays anymore? Because if what is happening in River State is allowed to stand, I think we're heading to a banana republic. How can a court of competent jurisdiction make a pronouncement and say XYZ is the speaker? Let me use that instance. And then you go to the president and they discuss and then they resolve that they should set aside the court judgment and do what has been decided in a meeting. Who does that? In a place where the rule of law
should thrive,
you cannot say that. Upturn that in the Supreme Court, bring whatever evidence or withdraw that thing, whatever it
but
is.
not just a proclamation.
It has been pronounced, and then you come and say, because we have discussed, set aside the court judgment. So I think it's a slap on democracy, it's a slap on the rule of law, which anyway is not really functioning in Nigeria, but at least do it in subterfuge. It's not like you have to put it in our face like, I have the power to do this. The court says one thing and I do another thing. It's an insult to the collective sensibility.
And then even the credibility of the court now it's hanging in a balance.
Whatever you say, you can. Our guest yesterday was saying that, you know, sometimes people just go to courts, get judgments that will favor them, and it may not even be important enough. It may not even hold water. So if we begin to see the courts like that, then what's the hope for the common man?
Oh, that's
I think what's happening in Rivers should never happen. It should never happen.
All right, to our final top trending, NCC orders telecom operators to bar unlinked SIMs. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has directed telecommunications operators to implement full blockage of all subscribers' identification module SIM cards not linked to national identification numbers, NINs, by February 28, 2024. The operators, including MTN, Airtel, Globacom, Nine Mobile, among others, have been lettered to carry out the exercise as directed. As of August 2023, the telecoms operators had 220 million subscriptions, of which MTN had 85 million, Glo 61 million, Airtel 60 million, and Nine Mobile 13 million. The mandatory NIN SIM linkage exercise began in December 2020 as directed by the federal government. The telecoms operators have already lost over 20 million subscriptions as some subscribers abandoned their lines. However, operators with several promo packages, including free airtime incentives, recovered some lines as more Nigerians registered for NIN. However, findings showed that about 10 million are yet to be recovered. The new directive might cost operators more subscriptions. In a letter to its shareholders and made available to journalists, MTN disclosed that it received a formal directive from the NCC to implement full network barring on all phone lines for which the subscribers have not submitted their NINs, as well as those whose NINs are unverified. MTN said this was part of an industry-wide directive that requires phone lines for which the subscribers have not submitted their NINs to be barred on or before February 28, 2024. The firm explained that NINs have been submitted but not verified. Such lines are to be barred on or before March 29, 2024, where 5 or more lines are linked to an unverified NIN. Similarly, it disclosed that where less than 5 lines are linked to an unverified NIN, such lines are to be barred on or before April 15, 2024. The telecommunications firm explained that this is a follow-up to the NCC's directive on April 4, 2022, requiring operators to restrict outgoing lines one-way barring for subscribers whose lines are not associated with NINs. MTN said it is further engaging the affected subscribers through all channels to encourage them to submit their NINs for verification. Reacting, the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria, ALTAN, has appealed to telephone users in the country not to wait till the last minute. The telecoms body appealed to the subscribers to enroll for NINs or submit their NINs through the appropriate channel advertised by members to avoid full suspension of services by the set deadlines.
Oh, well,
Has that happened to you before? Like you did not link your NIN and then you find out you're trying to make a call, or sometimes you even link your NIN and then you're trying to make a call and you find out that your number is bad, but then you have to go to your operator to link it again.
My experience about this NIN linking and all that is the fact that I was on leave at the time. They were saying we need to link our phone lines to NIN, and I spent my entire leave trying to get my number linked. It was that crazy. You go to the place, the network is down, is this
most
down,
times,
that and that. They don't have the infrastructure to do this. And I don't know why it hasn't been a continuous thing. Why is it at this time we're still talking about linking numbers to NIN? But my concern is, this is supposed to be a security issue. Like, you link it, we can always find you and all that. Crimes are still being perpetrated all this while. How have they used the linkage of this NIN to any security situation that they have been able to arrest?
So talking about this NIN, fine, I understand that, the federal government, they're trying to gather data. But what are you doing with this data? First, you came with BVN, then you came with, and like every single time, they just sleep and wake up and there's like something else needs to be done. And Nigerians are moving to go get that stuff because, for instance, the NIN now, you need to link your NIN to your phones. I wanted to renew my passport. You would not believe that it took me almost 2 months because I had my middle name wasn't in my NIN. And so I needed to be able to have the NIN to renew my passport. Now, because my middle name wasn't there, I can't renew my passport. Guess what? NIN's portal was down for over 1 month. Every time I go there, the portal is down. Every time. In fact, one of our colleagues here had already told me, Rima, prepare your mind. Because that portal, every 2 business days, it is down. So you're telling us to, go link our phones or do whatever we want to do. But then you don't even have the right technology to ensure that we can do it swiftly, smoothly, at ease. People are going there rushing to get this thing done, and it's futile. And frustrating.
Because the question is, have the infrastructure developed? Have they improved better than when we were facing all this? Because trust me, when it gets to January and people begin to go there, even though a lot of people have linked their numbers to NIN, but you'll still find out that it will be
There's
crashing.
Still a lot, because
when there was cash crunch, when there was cash crunch, the same lack of infrastructure made it impossible for people to do anything that they want to do. Right now, we have another cash crunch. I don't know why that is happening. At least at that time, people were rushing to get the new notes and all that. Now, the old notes and the new notes are supposed to exist together. There's still cash crunch. There are money touts now, like you have in the parks. You have the agberos. We have the financial agberos now. They're upping their POS charges and all that. So the infrastructure is not there. You want to make a transfer, it is not going. You want to receive, you are charged exorbitantly. Everything that happens here, and you just ask yourself, what happens to my pillow? Can I just not go and put my money in my pillow and all that?
Or maybe go back to the old times where you dig somewhere in your compound and you bury your money there. I mean,
and this may not be related, but the banks need to sit up. That's not exactly what we're saying. But the banks need to sit up. Sometimes you go make a complaint that there are illegal withdrawals on my account, and the banks just sit and look at you. When they know that they can trace these funds and possibly report to the police, make arrest or something, but they're not doing anything. You just sit down.
So something happened to me.
You've lost 250, you've lost 500,000, and the bank will be asking you.
And it's on you. But this is my question. Don't we have like insurance for these things? There is a commission that's supposed to insure your money in your bank.
There
is a commission that's supposed to insure your money, but nothing happens here. Now, I remember when I was in uni, I was in the UK, and my card, I think there was a transaction that had happened somewhere in one of the Eastern countries, I think somewhere in Pakistan or something. Someone had used my card, and I called my bank. I never used this. Guess what? They refunded my money. right back. They refunded my
They will
money
not do
while
that
they
in
would
Nigeria.
investigate, you know, what had happened, and then they try to get their money back. And that is how it is supposed to operate. If I'm telling you that I did not use this money, or I did not sanction this, you know, I did not approve this transaction, then you should be able to say, okay, we'll give you back your money, we'll try to recover it. And that is what that commission is supposed to do for insurance on your money. But nothing like that happens here.
Consumers are not protected in Nigeria. I know there's a consumer protection agency that we know.
We have so many of these agencies and commissions and parastatals that don't do anything.
Sometimes you spend more trying to get justice than what you have lost.
Yeah.
So you just say, okay, instead of going to spend 500,000 to get 200,000 or to get 50,000,
I might as well just leave it.
Let me just leave it.
But that's not even a way to live.
Because there are a lot of things that you will miss just trying to pursue one thing and all that. So they need to sit up. Everything needs to be regulated. Even rents need to be regulated.
We're having that conversation,
cannot just
yes.
wake up one day and say 300%, 400% hike in the rent and gives you 2 months notice or 1 month notice just because maybe you renovated the house, put tiles where there were no tiles, and make the place very beautiful, and he wants you out so that he can rent it
and get a higher price for the same apartment that you refurbished. Anyways, about the data, I think when we're gathering data in Nigeria, it should be purposeful. Don't just send people on a merry-go-round,
We should have a data
roller
bank.
coaster. We don't even do any. If I want to trace somebody now somewhere in Kafashan, how do I know where the person is? Who am I going to call? So what are we doing with those data?
No, you will go to the police and then give them fuel.
Oh, as long as I give them
You
fuel,
have to
then
give them fuel,
wow,
you know.
Interesting.
Because when they steal your phone, you go there. They can actually do it. They know how to trace it. 2 days there.
But they want you to give them
They
something.
will not have fuel. They will not, because they need to drive their cars to those places, investigate, ask some questions, and then they will have to fuel their generator to look at their computers and
Please.
So it's happening.
Please. All right, we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll be looking at what the national dailies are saying this morning. It will be off the press, but first, let's look at the weather. Stay with us.